Hey, welcome Twitch. How we doing tonight? So tonight's gonna be a short stream. I just wanted to go over and do some follow up from yesterday's stream, my inaugural stream. This is new to me, so and this is kind of exciting. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. I see that we got Chani Chico. What's up? Thanks for the support. Appreciate you over the months, I should say, over the years. Um, so very much excited to have you here, and I'm glad that you've joined us. Um, so yesterday, what I did was, and again, I'll just to kind of brief you on what this is all about. Like, I hope to be Twitch's first tutor, and I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. I've been working in education since 1996, and I'm about 3 or 4 years past my frustration tolerance with the field. I still love the work. I still love to make a difference and help people, and but it's time for me to find another way to do it. So this will be my last year teaching in the classroom. So in the evenings, I'm going to spend this time on Twitch trying to kind of reinvent, what that looks like for me. And oh, here's Izzy. Come here, Izzy. Come here, Izzy. We got Chani in the. Oh, come on. We got Chani in here. Come here. Come here. No, she wants me to throw the toy. That was a bad throw. So anyway, so yesterday was my first stream. I didn't take any live questions. I don't think I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. But if you go ahead and type exclamation Discord, then you can join my Discord server, and that's where you would ask questions, so that you can go ahead and snap pictures and post pictures of your questions. You can take a picture of a question in a textbook, or you can write something down on pen and paper or pencil, and put it in the Discord chat, and then I'll be using OneNote in just about every stream. So the digital tools that I have at my disposal here, and remember, this stream is education focused, but it's for students and for teachers, but really with an emphasis on. Oops, pardon me. I have to move my webcam here. It slid. Um, I don't know who this audience is going to be, but initially I seek to find adult learners and high school level inquiries, and kind of my wheelhouse and what I've spent most of my career as an educator focusing on has been um, those problematic math courses. So the ones that are required on the exit exams on just about every state assessment. So when it in this day and age of Common Core, it means Algebra 1. It means geometry. It means algebra 2. Lots of resources on the internet. The internet has been great for education and resources. So we have places like Khan Academy. We have places like Dividly, and there are lots of other resources where you can get help, and you can learn about math and other education subjects and take courses. However, what I don't think the internet has is I don't think the internet has somebody to provide free live help, and that's the space that I hope to fill. So welcome. Today I've got the agenda right here. I hope the font is big enough. You know what? Let's increase all of these text sizes here. I'll just make everything heading one size. So I hope to make this quick. I can be pretty long-winded. Let me double check my chat here. And again, I'm new to this, so I'm just gonna kind of go through. I've got a little agenda of a series of tutorials. If you're a teacher, or if you know a teacher that's looking for ways to digitize their classroom content, you've come to the right place. So I can speak to the teaching audience, and I have my entire career. I've provided both formal and informal support to teachers when it comes to integrating technology into their classroom. That includes troubleshooting and support on the hardware side, the software side, the network troubleshooting side. I've done that informally and formally in my capacities, in my building capacities, and that I've worked in schools. But then I've also provided some professional development when it comes to doing some of the things that I'm doing here on the stream in the classroom. So what you're seeing is largely a lot of the tool sets that I use when I teach. I very rarely pick up tools like my whiteboard marker anymore. I do just about everything digitally, but I will. My classroom is an all-tech classroom. It's not just a high-tech classroom. And speaking of high tech, I'm not even just high tech on the side of like the most expensive and the latest and greatest. I'm a huge opponent of those big, huge, expensive interactive whiteboards. As a person who's had to support them in buildings past, I find them to be troublesome. They're very expensive, and districts that have raised a lot of funding and tech levies to pay for them, I don't think have gotten their money's worth out of it, because then they'll go and turn around and plug a cheap old $700 laptop into it. And the magic happens on the computer, right? So the smartboard itself is just simply a display. So without further ado, we're going to get into this. What I'm going to show you is just kind of the three-headed dragon that's OneNote. And the reason why I call it a three-headed dragon is because what I'm going to cover in this stream, there are 4 categories in the agenda here. But really, the three-headed dragon I want to focus on is there's OneNote Windows 10, which is what you're looking at right now. There is also OneNote 2016. So that comes with, let me switch over to that one. That comes with the Office package. Okay, so you can see the slight change in the color of the interface or the title bar. You can also see that the user interface here looks a little bit more like the rest of the Office package, so it matches the same sensibilities as Excel and Word and PowerPoint. So we're going to look at the differences between these two and what they do and what they don't do. And then we're also going to look at the online version of OneNote, which reminds me I need to launch another browser window. And the online version of OneNote is kind of its own animal as well. So let's go to onenote.com, and then I'll go ahead and sign in. So the key here, what you need to get started, and really all you need to get started, hang on, let me bring up my Streamlabs window and interface again. Really all you need to get started with OneNote is a Microsoft account. It's free to create one, so it could be Hotmail, it could be Outlook, it could whatever kind of Microsoft account you want to use. If you have like a Hotmail account that you've really only used as your Xbox Live ID, then you can just sign into it with that account and you're good to go here. No need to create a new one. Now, the other thing too is if you belong to an educational organization, so if you're a college student, if you're a student at a public school, there's a pretty good chance that you already have an Office 365 account. So Microsoft has done a fabulous job when they migrated their system from just having like the cold hard Office installations, and when they moved to Office 365 for organizations, that's where things really started to turn around in the education space, and that's also where they started to catch up with Google as far as the classroom sets of tools and learning tools that they offer in the education space. Google had been kind of running circles around them. Excuse me while I had to. I guess I can't remember a password while I'm talking about something else. So Google had really been running circles around them with Google Apps and the way that their documents collaborate with each other. And Microsoft is trying to catch up in a big way. And in some ways, they've surpassed what Google can do for with certain functions and utilities. And in other ways, they're still playing catch up. And so I talked about this yesterday, about ways where Google still does it better. And I also, we're going to go over some of that today as well. But let me go ahead and open up my live with Glitter. And Chani, I was thinking about you. I don't know if you're still in the chat or not, but I was thinking about you when I came across this. I love the glitter pens in this. Absolutely. And we're gonna talk about which version of OneNote supports that and which ones don't. And actually, that's first up on the agenda. So let's take a look here. Let's just jump into it. So I'm going to start off with OneNote Windows 10. So if you don't know what that is, there is a version of OneNote that is native to Windows 10. It is just about as uninstallable as a Windows application is. I've worked with ITS in the school district that I work for. 3 years ago, we had a real problem on the campus where I worked with the Windows 10 version of OneNote, and for a very specific reason. It was because the differences between the three-headed monster that we're going to talk about right now was more substantial 3 years ago than it is now. So we needed, and I was a little bit spoiled. I was at a small alternative high school. We had a one-to-one program, so all of our students had their own laptop assigned to them. The Windows 10 version of OneNote just did not support the kinds of features that we were deploying in all of our classes. So we needed our students to use the 2016 version of OneNote that came with the Office installation, and it was very difficult to coach the students to understand the difference between which. So we asked ITS to make that version either uninstalled or invisible to the students, and it took an act of Congress for them to do it. Our tech support person told me that every time he thought he created an image where he had removed Windows 10, he would restart, or I'm sorry, where he had removed the Windows 10 version of OneNote, he would restart the computer and it would come right back. And what he discovered was that when OneNote is built into the kernel for Windows 10, Microsoft believes it's that important. So we're going to go over this. And that was wrong. Okay, so we're going to go over the Windows 10 version of OneNote and some things that it does that are unique to it. It's got color pencils and glitter pens. The other two versions don't have. We're going to take a look at embedded video. We're also going to take another look at the Immersive Reader. The Immersive Reader is something I covered yesterday. But anytime that I'm covering features of OneNote, as long as I have viewers that may or may not be new, I'm going to talk about the Immersive Reader. I cannot emphasize, like, the whole world should know about the Immersive Reader. Now, I need to do a little bit of homework to be confident about this statement, but I will tell you with about 70% confidence that I think that this Immersive Reader is now built into the Windows 10 version of OneNote. It used to only be available via add-on, and I'll take it to the add-on page when we cover OneNote when we cover OneNote 2016. But I think now that they've realized they've created something so incredible and powerful that I believe it's now just built into the Windows 10 version of OneNote. So speaking of which, this is it right here. So this is OneNote, and it's the Windows 10 version of OneNote. You're not going to hear it called that. It's if you have Windows 10, it's just going to be called OneNote. If you have the most recent version of Office, you might see OneNote 2016. So the fact that they call it 2016 is your signal that that's part of the Office installation. Also, notice the difference in the color, right? So this is for the regular standard Windows 10 OneNote, it's more of a true purple. Okay, this one's a bit duller when it comes to the Office installation. It also kind of matches kind of the color scheme of the rest of the Office products, logos and themes. So there's one way to tell the difference. The color pencils and glitter pens, I'm already here in the draw menu. And the Windows 10 version of OneNote has a really, really basic interface. It's stripped down for simplicity. It has parity across laptops, desktop versions, laptops, touch screens, tablets, whether it's like an iPad or whether it's a Windows 10 tablet like a Surface. They deliberately removed a lot of the noise in the user interface with good reason. So in the draw menu, you have some really basic features here. So you've got a number of different pens that you can deploy, and they call them pens, and they're just writing tools. So I'm going to add a page here. I meant to do this earlier, and I was fighting with some chores that I forgot to take care of. Okay, so let's go. So the color pencils and glitter pens are exclusive to Windows 10 at this point. The other two versions of OneNote have fairly stale and unexciting writing input methods compared to these. So let's first start off with a pen. And I'm using an Intuos Bluetooth medium-sized graphics tablet, if you're wondering. First, I don't want a 1mm size pen. That's a little bit too broad of a line for me. Oh, so it looks like here, okay, so I've got a point, and it treats these kind of like pencil leads. So You can see here in the interface, I can either just select a pen and start drawing, or I can very precisely click the drop menu arrow to bring up this menu. And so we have some choice as far as the thickness of our line goes. And these thicknesses correspond with the actual, if you're an artist and you understand 2mm leads and thicknesses, or you use a lot of mechanical pencils. I think 0.5 is a little too fine for this. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the next size up, which is 1.0 millimeters. And if we deploy and select one of the pens, we can just pick a color and we can start drawing. And I am using this tablet in Bluetooth mode, which I was skeptical of doing initially, but I did it yesterday for my first stream, and it turned out to be okay. I'm still not sure how I feel about it, because when I'm using a graphics tablet to draw and teach, I prefer a wire, because I don't like interference and I don't like voids in my writing. So if there's any kind of latency with the wireless signal from the laptop to the device, I don't want to mess with any of that. So I normally go with a wire, but for this I'm trying to minimize like my setup here, and I thought I would try out the Bluetooth connection. So I'm just writing here, and I'll be writing a little bit slow, and if my handwriting is a little bit janky, then forgive me, but I actually am using my left hand to write. And I have a very specific reason for that I'll go over later in the stream. And if you hear my daughter in the background, I got my family in the living room watching old episodes of Hell's Kitchen. I want to talk about line thickness while I'm doing this. So while we're here, so I talked about line thickness and how you can adjust that here. If you're not familiar with Windows Ink, one of the things it does for you is if you have an input device that recognizes Windows Ink, and this Wacom Intuos just does happen to recognize it. Also 4K. So on the pressure sensitivity side, so I actually if I pick a thicker pen, which I've picked a little, the default is 0.5, and we've gone with 1mm. What we can do is we actually can vary the thickness of our line if we just simply change the pressure on the board. So you can see here the line starts off with one particular thickness and then it ends with another. And I did that just by varying the pressure that I'm placing on the board. And again, here I actually can show you. My webcam is not on an arm, but I do have my phone wired in here. So let's, if you're curious. Is it gonna turn? No. So that's, okay, I'll just turn it. I thought my visor app would rotate the display if I went landscape. So that's my tablet. So it's like I said, it's just a Wacom Intuos Bluetooth, the medium size, not the small, not the large. So runs about just shy of $200. And this gives you handwriting capability in just about any computer, whether or not you have a touch screen. So, all right, so that's a standard pen. So that's available in all 3 versions of OneNote. Okay, so let's go to what makes OneNote Windows 10 unique. So the color pencils here, we'll stick with a 1mm. It offers a color palette right here. You can also select additional colors if you want. So you've got a wide variety here. I'm going to go with a blue, kind of an almost teal color. And when I go to draw with this, I love this as a teacher. This will look more like a pencil, a color pencil, as a matter of fact. And I'm not really a fan of how my handwriting appears to drag. You might see in the 2016 version of OneNote that my handwriting doesn't do that. So I'm not really sure why Windows 10 does this. and you can see my handwriting has become much more terrible. And I don't know if it's because of the fact that the color pencil, even though it's selected at the same thickness, it might appear to be thinner. But it does. Let me try that line thickness demo again. You can see here it does give that graininess of a pencil. So that's pretty cool, and this is unique to Windows 10. If we were to look at this now keep in mind, everything I'm doing is connected to my Microsoft account. Therefore, it's saved in the cloud. So if I hold Shift and press F9, you're going to see here that this notebook is going to be syncing, so it's going to push changes up to the server in the cloud. And if I switch versions of OneNote, and I do the same thing, I'm going to Shift F9. You can see over here that it's synchronizing, so it's slightly different interface. We can see that the other page shows up. And if you look, holy smokes, I just learned something new. So Windows, the 2016 version of OneNote must now support color pencils. Huh. No. It doesn't. Okay, so it'll display it, but it won't draw with a color pencil. Wow, okay, I just learned something new. So the other thing about this three-headed monster is they constantly update them. So we see updates about 3 or 4 times a year if you follow the OneNote EDU account on Twitter. And it's pretty awesome. Because the last time I showed this to somebody, which I think was back in April, when I was showing another teacher how to use OneNote in his classroom, this certainly, almost certainly, did not display correctly. So if I went to Windows 10, drew something with a color pencil, and then I went back and looked at it in OneNote 2016, it looked like a pen. So that's, bravo to Microsoft for at least adding this feature. And so let's get to the glitter pen then. I'm curious as to what this is going to look like. So again, the color pencils, you can change and adjust. Okay, don't need to do a second demo, but I love the glitter pens. It's not just glitter either. So take a look at everything we have here. These last 2 rows here initially were experimental features, and I thought they launched with the Windows 10 Anniversary Edition, either that or the Education Edition. But so we've got the rainbow glitter pen, we've got Galaxy, we've got Lava, we've got Ocean, and then we have metallic ones too. So there's rose, there's gold, there's silver, and there's bronze. So if we launch the glitter pen, and you can bump up the thickness, right, if you really want to, but I'm going to keep it at the 1 millimeter to keep all these lines, or at least to give us a comparison. So let's see if my handwriting looks more or less terrible or equally terrible. I don't know if you can hear that profanity in the background, but they are watching the Amazon Prime. Hey, Chani, what's up? I am awesome. I am so honored to have you here. Thank you so much, by the way. No, you're not interrupting me at all, Chani. And Chani, if you guys are not already, you got to go to Chani's channel. You got to give him a follow. He's kind of, reinventing his channel out right now, so I don't know. You're streaming tonight, right? Right? Because I'm going to host you when I'm done here, right? But anyway, he is one of a handful of streamers that have inspired me to do this, and he was one of the first. So I owe a lot to Chani. He is amazing, phenomenal. He's a quality human being. I'm trying not to tear up here because this is big for me. As far as like I'm trying to switch careers here, and this is the start of it, and I have him to thank for the inspiration. So thank you, Chani. So give him a follow. I'm certainly gonna host next week. Okay. So it'll be Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. But give him a follow anyway. They're not kind words. I'm just speaking the truth. We're learning about OneNote right now, the different versions of it. And but yeah, Chani is just overall an inspiring and high quality person. He's a great streamer. He does a variety of games. He plays with viewers. So yeah, give him a follow, and I just, now that we're speaking about like following and supporting and stuff, like I'm not looking to monetize this service or channel at all. I'm looking to make kind of an audacious career switch. I would love to spend the next, you know, several months, however long it takes, building a following here. Um, and I would love to have something compelling enough to have a tech company acquire, which would also, you know, include me. So I'm not going to be asking for any kind of you know, financial contributions from my viewers, but I do have in my description. If you look at my description, I have a list of the streamers who have inspired me to do this. If you do feel compelled to give a subscription, a donation, or cheer bits at somebody, please cheer, donate, subscribe to one of them, and Chani is I believe at the top of that list, because I owe a lot to those folks and their channels, more than most of them realize, because I've been AFK in a lot of their communities in the past. The past 2 or 3 months, I used to be active. When I thought of the crazy idea to do this, I started getting more active in the communities for the streamers that I follow. But I've been kind of AFK while I've been trying to figure out, like, you know, whether or not this was going to be for me. But definitely, I've got a list of folks that have inspired me, and Chani's one of those. So yeah, give him a follow, send him a subscription or some donations, and then again, so we can confirm that, right? Are you launching on the release of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, or is it going to be like next weekend? Because Tomb Raider comes out Tuesday, right? I need to check this here. I also have a PS4, folks. So I've got a Switch. So I will to mix things up. I will occasionally game with my folks here. I don't have a graphics card. I don't have a capture card, so I'll never be streaming. Okay, good. So it'll be Friday then. Okay, definitely add that to your calendars, folks, and you have a countdown clock on your channel as well, right? So yeah, if you give them follow, turn on the notifications. You know, I love Chani's stream. I love the way he runs his community. He's all about that positivity. He's all about supporting folks. So yeah, check his channel out once he goes live again. And then what was I talking about here? I lost my place. Oh, we were confirming the release of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I believe it's Tuesday. Let's see here. I'm excited for that too. So if you type !PSN, yep, it is the 14th. Okay, so if you type !PSN, then my PSN ID is in there. If you type !Switch, then my friend code is there as well. So you can add me on either platform. I know I will occasionally just stream from my PlayStation 4. Just to throw some variety in there, and until I buy a capture card, I won't be streaming on the Switch. But you can always add me, and we can play together, because I've been playing a hell of a lot of Paladins, and Chani and his community know that I'm a junkie when it comes to a lot of Nintendo stuff. So I play a lot of Splatoon. Oh no, you're good, Chani. Yeah. Remember, games tend to come out on Tuesdays, except for special releases, and then also Nintendo, like, they release their big games on Fridays as well. But yeah, that's not that big a deal if it releases Tuesday, but you can wait till Friday. Yeah. In my household, we'll probably be playing it on Tuesday night, but it depends. Okay, so let me finish up this. And I love this glitter pen. And when I first learned of this glitter pen, I thought, oh, that is so awesome. How about showing some solidarity to the LGBTQ plus community and just doing some stuff in glitter pen during Pride Month? But like, why would it have to be Pride Month? It can be all year. Because this just looks fabulous. So, and again, Windows 10 or Windows Ink, right? So again, we'll do the little demonstration here with the pressure sensitivity. And so, oh, I missed that. So Mage Masher uses OneNote as well. Oh, okay, he's be right back. All right. So there's a glitter pen. You can add quick shortcuts here. So in the Windows 10 version of OneNote, if you click this plus button, see, I have a quick shortcut to the lava pen. I have a quick shortcut to the rainbow pen. You can, if you don't want to have to drop this menu to switch to any of your favorite pens, you can add additional favorite pens up here if you want. And I'm probably behind schedule here, which is fine. I do need to make this a short stream because I still got to cook dinner, but I've got everything prepped. So we've looked at the color pencils and glitter pens. Next, we're going to look at embedded video. So let's take a look here. If I go to the insert menu, this was new. So links, right? Links have always worked in OneNote since its earliest inception. I don't know how old OneNote is. It's been around for quite a while. I know it's been around since at least Office 2007. And it's evolved quite a bit since then. And obviously as a text-based note-taking app, you can always put links into it, but nobody wants to leave the app. Sometimes you're doing something and you want to be immersed into the interface that's in front of you, and certainly OneNote is good for that. So they've added support for online video in at least 2 of these versions. Now, if anyone in here is I need to check my chat again. I think I've switched windows. If anyone in here is a Microsoft expert, and I am by no means an expert, I would call myself a power user, but if you're a Microsoft expert, then please clarify in the chat whether or not the online embedded video works in all 3 versions. I know it works in at least 2 of them. Yes. No. I know it works in at least 2 of them, and so this is one of them. So let's go to find a video here. So I'm just gonna, and YouTube is great, so let's just go to YouTube. I've got Chani here in chat. You want to say hi to him? Hi. My wife says hi. She loves you just as much as I do. So let's just take a look. So let's find a YouTube video here. I got an honest trailer for the N64. So, oh, what happened? I want the share link. Okay, so I guess I got to go to it before I can share it. All right, so let's share this. I just need to fetch the link. I'll keep that open just in case I need it. So for the online video, I'm going to click, let me back up in case I went too fast. So from the insert menu, we can click online video. And then we're just going to paste. So as far as supported video, I don't know which videos are supported or not. I think it supports Vimeo. I know it supports YouTube. It probably supports... Oh, here we go. There's the entire list right here. Flipgrid, GeoGebra. Oh, GeoGebra. Okay, that's good. Jiffy. TED Talks. Okay, so this is a pretty comprehensive list. All right, so you can always go check that out if you want. Let's close this out. Go back. Okay, so we've pasted the video for the honest trailer, and it embeds it. Okay. Pretty simple stuff. So you can play back without having to leave your page. Because a lot of times, it can be frustrating when you're doing online school or electronic learning. It can be frustrated if you only have one screen and you have to constantly toggle screens. Anytime we're taking a course online, right, you almost always have to view content in one window and then produce your own content in some other window. So it can be frustrating to try to toggle back and forth. That's where the embedded video can be kind of a nice convenience. Now, if you notice here, OneNote works on the whole sensibility of containers. So this triple dot right here at the top, and then these triple dots right here, this is a container. So there's the link to the YouTube video if you want to open it in a browser. Of course, this is YouTube and it's embedded video, so you can always click on the YouTube logo right here to launch it in a browser as well. And then but it's playing right here from within the window. Now, if you want to change the size of this, you can always adjust the dimensions of the container. So as I resize the video, the container will match its minimum boundaries so that it contains the entire frame that you're trying to capture. Okay, so let's go ahead and pause this. So I'm curious, and we're going to find out right here if this works in OneNote 2016. It did not used to, and that frustrated the heck out of me for the longest time. So I'm going to wait patiently here while my Live with Glitter notebook synchronizes. Okay, the synchronization is complete. We're going to switch to OneNote 2016. Now, this might look like it's going to work, so we're going to find out if it actually does. The last time I tried to play an embedded video in OneNote 2016, it didn't work. So let's hope to be pleasantly surprised. Holy shit, it worked. So Microsoft continues to amaze with their updates. So, okay, that actually worked. And I think that does it for the Windows 10 version, right? So let's see. Go back to the agenda. Oh, no. We got to talk about the Immersive Reader. We got to talk about the Immersive Reader now that I got Chani in the room. So I went over this in detail in last night's stream. I'll go over it again because it seems to, I think I have some different audience members. First of all, a little bit about me. I graduated high school in 1996, and I've been working in public schools just about ever since. I started off as an AmeriCorps member in the district where I graduated from, and I did that for 2 years. Then I was a paraeducator. I worked in special ed for another 3 years before, and that's when I went back to school to get my associate's degree. And it was my time as a paraeducator working in special ed where I was convinced by some of the teachers that I worked with that I needed to teach, that I was made to do this. So the rest is kind of history, but that's where I came from. I got a soft spot in my heart. Like, I feel really strongly about access to education and for those with disabilities. And I actually, oh, you worked in special ed too. Awesome. Hey, 1 year, 2 days, 5 days, 20 days. It all matters because you made a difference to somebody. But I am special ed certified. I've mostly taught general education in my career. I'm currently in a special ed assignment right now, working with students with learning disabilities. And that is the background of why this is such an important tool to me when I talk about the Immersive Reader. So let me just launch a new page. Yeah, you loved it, and I'm sure you were good at it. I'm sure you were phenomenal. And the fact that you stopped after 1 year was probably a huge loss to our field, Chani. But that's okay because we all find our own path. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is yeah, and I still love it. Like I said, I'm like 3 or 4 years past my career frustration or my frustration tolerance with the career, but I never get sick of the work. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to go to Wikipedia. The Immersive Reader is it's a game changer for people with disabilities, whether it's visual disabilities, it could be a learning disability such as dyslexia. It could also be for English language learners as well. So if English is not your first language, but yet you're trying to do college or take high school courses and you're functioning at about a 4th or 5th grade reading level and you're trying to read college level text like the Iliad or the Odyssey, check out what this does. So let's go to a physics. Can I spell tonight? Maybe not. I'm just looking for some text out here out on the internet. And what I'm looking for is some text that's got some challenging vocabulary, at least high school or college level. So I'm going to go down here and just highlight a couple of paragraphs from a science page on Wikipedia. And when I go back to the Windows 10 version of OneNote, and I'm going to apologize right now to anyone that was with us last night. If you already saw this and like, why is he doing this again? I have to do it again. From the first several streams that I do, I'm gonna be talking about the Immersive Reader. So 2 things that happen right here. One, let me expand the container here on its width. You might have noticed, if you are super quick with your visual acuity, you might have noticed that I only highlighted 2 paragraphs of text in the main body of the article on Wikipedia. But look what Windows 10 did for me. Or I'm sorry, look what OneNote did for me when I pasted it. It included the source link. Okay? Super important in case you forget where you got it from. It includes the source link. Okay, that's not what I'm here to show off though. So, and I'm not even going to bother with this text size, even this is like a 12-point font. Nobody uses that anymore because that's just so tiny, hard to read. But let's launch the Immersive Reader. So I'm going to go to the View menu. I'm going to click on the Immersive Reader. Oh, I guess it is an add-in. Oh no, I did this last night and it worked. And now it's not working. Okay, so let's close that and then let's see if we need to launch it again. But in the meantime, I'm going to switch to OneNote 2016 and go a little bit off agenda here because I still want to talk about the Immersive Reader. All right, so I've got a synchronized version of this. I'm in OneNote 2016. It's in a different place here. So here it's in the Learning Tools menu. And I'm going to launch the Immersive Reader, and we're going to take a look at what it does. So the first thing it does is it removes all of the distractions on the computer screen so that we can focus on the text. So that's great if you have focus issues, ADHD, other kinds of focus issues. We have 3 menus here. So we have our text preferences menu where we can increase or decrease the size of the font. We can also increase or decrease the spacing between letters and words, right? Okay, this is huge for people with that possibly might suffer from learning disabilities. Okay, you can change the font. So the online version will support 1 additional font set, but a lot of science went into this, and the team that did the research team that designed this tool chose the fonts that are most responsive to folks with learning disabilities. So that's why there's such a small number of fonts available. And when if you do this online, there is an additional font that's there, and I think it's Comic Sans. You can change the theme. Personally, I don't like the white on black, or the black on white, I'm sorry. It's a little bit rough on the eyes. This is more gentle, a little bit more gentle. I prefer the black background, the white text. I think that's the best theme and setup for me, for my visual preferences. So you can adjust that to according to what's going to meet your needs. Now take a look. We have this menu here. Oh my goodness, look at this. So suppose you're an English language learner, right? You're new to the country, or maybe it's not even this country, but you're new to the English language and you're trying to learn. So you could break up the syllables with the click of a mouse. You can hide them. How about this? Show me the nouns and the adjectives and the verbs. What? How phenomenal is that? Now, especially in the science classrooms, it can be easy to confuse nouns with adjectives because words are longer, they got a lot of syllables. But that's amazing. Okay, and down here the voice menu lets you choose between David and Zira. So I was saying Mira yesterday. I guess it's Zira. So there are more voices as well. So why not? While we're here, let's install some more voices. I like Zira more than David because I seem to find that Zira has this too many steps. Let's save this for another stream if you want to install another voice. I think Zira tends to have a more natural transition between words. So, but you decide for yourself. I'm gonna play them both. We'll start with Zira, then we'll switch to Dave. I find David to be a little too robotic. But let's just click the play button down here.
Classical physics includes the traditional branches and topics that were recognized and well developed before the beginning of the 20th century: classical mechanics, acoustics, optics, thermodynamics, and electromagnetism. Classical mechanics is concerned with bodies acted on by forces and bodies in motion, and may be divided into statics, study of the forces on a body or bodies not subject.
Now, if that's too fast, you can slow her down, right?
Subject to an acceleration, kinematics, study of motion without regard to its causes, and dynamics, study of motion and the forces that affect it.
So let's switch now. Let's listen to David. I'll kick the speed back up to where it was. We'll switch to David.
It Mechanics may also be divided into solid mechanics and fluid mechanics, known
You see
together
what I
as
mean?
continuum mechanics. The latter includes
He
such
has a
branches as
more robotic
hydrostatics,
and kind of a
hydrodynamics,
harsh
aerodynamics,
transition from word to
and
word, at
pneumatics.
least in my opinion.
Acoustics is the study of how sound is produced, controlled, transmitted, and received. 43 important modern
So that's the Immersive Reader, the way it's working in OneNote 2016. I don't know why the 2010 version was failing us, but let's relaunch it and find out. I literally streamed this yesterday, and it worked just fine. So maybe there was an update that I missed. In fact, I think I should check that. Let's check to see if there's an update. I'm gonna go to settings. Apologize for my silence here. Yeah, it is awesome, isn't it, Chani? If you know somebody with a disability that's in your life, could be you, could be someone that's close to you, this is a game changer if they're trying to read text on the internet and they need access to it. And like I said, English language learners, dyslexics, other people that are just reading far below the grade level that's or the content that they that's not what I meant to click. If they're reading if their reading level is far below the content area, they can listen and follow along. There's some additional features too here that a little bit frustrating to me that that Windows 10 is giving me these problems. How about this? Let's go to the Trust Center. Yep. Office Insider, nope. Okay, I'm just gonna try it again and see what happens. Okay, well, you know what though? I don't want to give up. So let's go to I'm gonna go to onenote.com/learning tools, and we're gonna find out if we can just if there's an update to the add-in. Now, my suspicion, I'll tell you right now, my suspicion is this add-in is for the 2016 version. I could be wrong. But let's find out. It's downloading right now, so let's go back to the agenda, take a look at something else. Okay, we look at the Immersive Reader down in 2016. We have not looked at it here. We need to find out what the heck is going on. And it could be my laptop. I don't want to have to restart in the middle of the stream, so that's not that. Oh, while we're here, I'm checking stuff off of 2016. I'm going to hop back to 2016. Let me show you the full controller pens that you have. So in the draw menu, you can see here we already have a substantially larger menu interface. Like I said, they tried to do their best to optimize this to work with parity across different kinds of devices with Windows 10. But on Office 2016, they just knew that you're using a computer, right? So it's either a desktop environment or it's a laptop that you're using. And so they didn't need to mess with or worry about like the menu being too cumbersome, because they knew that this is something you're used to if you're coming from Word, if you're coming from Excel, if you're coming from PowerPoint. It pretty much has the same kind of navigation here. You got your ribbon to navigate the menu commands, and then you have a quick access toolbar that you have full customization options over. Take a look at this as well. So let me make a new page. And we'll nest it from within here. So this is OneNote 2016. Notice I have lines here. I can hide them if I want. You can do that in all versions of OneNote. So we'll hide the lines since we don't need them. And I have, since I teach with this tool most, I use OneNote 2016 most frequently in the classroom. I have fully customized my pens options. So these are all 0.7 thickness pens. So Again, this is my left hand. I'm not left-handed, but I did teach myself to write both cursive and print with my left hand. So, okay, so thank you for being here. This is 0.7. There's a little line thickness demonstration there. You can see we start with a very thin line with light pressure and then showing off the pressure sensitivity table. This can be adjusted as well within your tablet settings app. So over here, this is my Wacom tablet properties. I can go to the pen and I can change the pressure table here. So if I'm pressing on the board, it'll show the maximum. Actually, I have to press pretty hard to get to that maximum, so I like the way where this is right now, because I don't like to press too hard and wear out the nib on my Wacom tablet pen. Stylus, I should say. That's this. Here's something you're going to see that we didn't see in Windows 10. So I can adjust the color and thickness, and when I open up this menu, it gives me a few more options here. So back in Windows 10, what we had in our menu to change the thickness was there was 0.5 and there was 1.0, 1 millimeter. Okay, possibly not a big deal to some, but maybe it is to others. But for OneNote 2017, it does give you the 0.7 option, which is the thickness that I prefer to write with. So possibly not an issue, but for me, it's been a huge issue as somebody who's taught with OneNote for the past 4 years. 0.7 is kind of the sweet spot for me. You go any thinner than that, and it gets hard for people to read on a projector from the back of the room. But then when you go any thicker than that, then your handwriting starts to get a little bit hard to read, depending on how small or big that you write, because the thicker lines are, of course, going to make your handwriting look a little bit more compressed. So there's that. Okay, let's check on this download and let's install the learning tools. So I hope this fixes our issue with nope. It says right here it's for 2013 and 2016. So I'm gonna go ahead and install it, and I'm gonna hope. I gotta figure out what's going on with Windows 10 because this literally worked yesterday when I did it in stream. Okay, so let's check off some things here. Full control of pens, full menu and features. We'll go over this next, as well as the ribbon and quick access. I do have to wait for this to install before I reopen the 2016 version of OneNote. So I wonder, you know what, let's just do a quick demonstration while we're waiting on that. This isn't on the agenda, but let me just show you the Ink to Math tool that's here. There's a math converter that's built into the Windows 10 version of OneNote. It's phenomenal. Let's say I want a graph. I'm going to go x squared minus 5x plus 6. This is a quadratic. It's trinomial. And actually, let's put it in its equation form. Okay. This may be traumatic to some of you. I apologize if you had a math teacher that was a twat, and this is just bringing up some trauma for you. But let me try to ease that trauma. Watch this. If I go to the draw menu and go back to the draw menu, check out my Lasso Select. So for this, I can either click and drag a rectangle. My fault, I didn't click it correctly. So I can either click and drag a rectangle over the handwriting. But it is Lasso Select, and so they mean that by Lasso Select. You can also, if you have an input tablet, you can just draw over the object. It'll auto-select it. And again, I did this in stream last night. We're going to do this again. I'm going to click Math. There's a pretty phenomenal handwriting recognition tool that's built into OneNote. And you can see right here, it perfectly translated my letters and symbols, or the numbers and symbols. So I can Ink to Math, and then it'll change that text so that it's math type, because I don't know if you've ever had to type mathematics on a computer before. It is painful and cumbersome. So I didn't want to do that, so I'm trying to click undo, and it won't undo it. Wow, it won't let me undo. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to close this because I actually want the handwriting. I don't want the math type in there, so delete that. Let's try it again. Thank you for the follow. Bridges and Sons. Oh, I know who you are. Bridges and Sons. Oh my goodness. We got family in the house. I'm going to cry. All right, so let me put that quadratic back up. Welcome to my stream, Bridges and Sons. If you're here, it's probably because you read my Facebook post, so you know why I'm doing this. And so this is, if I get kind of emotional about it, I'm gonna try not to, but I'm human, just like the next person. And so that is awesome. I am grateful to have family here to support me. So I'm gonna try this one more time here. Let's go. Y equals x squared. And we went minus 5x plus 6. I am a math teacher, so I'm being tricky here. I know some properties about this thing that I'm about to do here that I can predict what's going to happen, but I'm not going to do that because we're not here to show off what I know. We're here to show off what this thing can do. So I'm not going to ink to math because I had just done that seconds ago, about a minute ago, and it wouldn't let me undo it, even though yesterday I was able to undo that crap. Oh wait, my install needs attention here. Okay, let's launch OneNote. And then let's go back. So that's 2016 that's launching right now. Let's go back to Windows 10. Now check out the action here. Yeah, get out of here. So check out the action here. So we can take this formula. It's currently isolating y. We can tell it to solve for x if we want. That's going to be kind of a pain because this is a quadratic, so we're not going to talk about that. But this is what I'm after right here. Graph it in 2D. Now, bam, it's done. Okay. We can look at this graph here. We can zoom in if we need to. Oops, my fault. You can pan the viewfinder. In fact, I am going to zoom in because I happen to know a couple of things about this. I knew where it was going to cross the x-axis because of the way that I wrote the quadratic. So I already knew that it was going to cross the x-axis at 2 and 3. Except I want to show the origin here. Okay, so I can't have that big of a zoom, or that tight of a zoom here. So this is pretty amazing, right? And then now look here. We can click on the key graph features. It's going to tell us the zeros, right? X equals 2 and x equals 3. I knew this line was going to cross the x-axis at 2 and 3 because I wrote the quadratic to have that property. But if you didn't know that, now you know it. And what you can do here is for these properties, I can click the checkbox right here to show it on the graph, and it'll drop points there. So the 2 points that of interest that we were just discussing, which are the zeros, it's right there. The y-intercept, okay, we can show it. It's at 6. It's not currently on the graph, but if we zoom out or pan, we can see that it's going to cross the y-intercept at 6. Minima and maxima, so if you have more than one inflection point, it'll show relative minima and maxima. Okay, so it's got a minima here. That's the going to be the vertex. We're showing the domain and range. Okay, and it's got other properties as well. So I'm good with this. I'm gonna go ahead and click Insert on Page, and here it is right here, without having to leave the interface. Okay, now keep in mind this can be done with other software. And it's been possible to use like Desmos and GeoGebra. GeoGebra is an amazing tool. So is Desmos, but I'm going to cover those in different streams because the topic of tonight is OneNote. So that's the Ink to Math tool. It's hand recognition. I'm going to close Windows 10 again, the Windows 10 version of OneNote. We're going to go back to OneNote 2016. I don't know if this is a thing here. I don't know if this is available. We've had Ink to Math, but this was in OneNote 2016. The last time I had used this, which was a while ago, all it did was exactly what the tooltip says it does, which is convert the handwritten mathematical expressions to text. So let's give it a try here. And also, I had another question answered just now as I switched back. Remember earlier in the stream, for those of you who have been with me longer, so the color pencil shows correctly in OneNote 2016. The glitter pen shows correctly in OneNote 2016. The lava pen did not. So recall that I wrote this text in the other version of OneNote, but I used the lava pen. and it's just showing up as red ink. See, so it's the lava pen here, and it's just red ink there. Okay, maybe a big deal to you, maybe not a big deal. That's a personal preference. All right, so where are we here? We've done, let's go back, make sure I do have to cook dinner here in a few moments. So this was off topic. All right, so we've covered, okay, full menu and features. Let's go over some other things here too. So how the heck do you get your ribbon to work this way and your quick tools? So just like the rest of Office, if you click File and you go to Options, and by the way, I point with my mouse pointer all the time. So this little circle that blips, this is actually an accessibility feature that's built into Windows. Every teacher that uses their computer in front of the class on a regular basis should turn this on. All I have to do is press the Control key on my keyboard, and then I get a little blip, a circular blip around my mouse pointer, so that way if I need my students to have their attention focused on a particular part of the screen, or if there's a link that they're going to have to type in manually into their computers, leaving your mouse pointer there might not be good enough. You know, being able to blip where the mouse pointer is like this to make its position more prominently obvious is awesome. Okay, what were we doing? Oh, so your display, right? Now, for some reason, don't ask me why. Okay, and I said last night in my stream, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. So when something about OneNote just is inferior to another product like Google, or something that GeoGebra does better, I'll just straight up call it out. Now, one of the design features I do not understand about OneNote at all is that when you go online, this is the standard layout. You get your sections of your notebook appear on the left, pages appear immediately next to it in another frame. For some reason, that's not the case in the desktop versions of OneNote. So this option right here where it says page tabs appear on the left, that's not enabled by default. So when you first start OneNote, you get your section navigators up here, your notebook pane navigators over here, and then the pages are over here on like way on the other side of the screen. It's a design miscue that I do not understand. So one of the first things I do with every computer that I'm going to start using OneNote, I always go to the display menu, and I check the box so that the page tabs appear on the left, so that all of my navigation is done in the same area of the screen. It's just a really odd design choice that I don't understand on the Microsoft end of it. So okay, so there's display, there's proofing. So I'm not going to go over all these features because we can do this all night. So I'm just going to show you where everything's at. So add-ins right here, I've got two things. I got the class notebook add-in. I have learning tools. We're not going to talk about the class notebook here unless I'll never show anything necessarily about the class notebook unless I have a lot of teachers in my stream asking questions about the class notebook add-in. So we're not going to do that here tonight, and we might not do it possibly ever. So the quick access toolbar, that's this guy up here at the top. That's the quickest way for me to show switch pens. I do wish Microsoft, if anyone from Microsoft is listening, I do wish, and I've submitted this through user voice feedback, I do wish you could have more than 8 pens, 8 favorite pens. So you can, right now I think when you first turn on your quick access, it probably shows 1 or 2 of your favorite pens. I don't remember what the default is, but I show as many favorite pens as possible. And right now you're limited to 8. Also, you're limited to 4 highlighters. Now, take a look at the real estate that this occupies in my interface. Like, there's a whole hell of a lot of room left for more shortcuts. Like, I want more pens, I want more highlighters, I want to be able to switch on the fly. And I'll show you how you can do that with if you're an expert with keyboard shortcuts. I'll show you what that looks like. But then after the pens, I use very few other shortcuts. So use pen as a pointer is one cool thing that I actually don't use it as often as I should, mainly because I have this feature. But I'll show you what this does in lieu of that. And the stroke eraser. What I love about OneNote is it has a couple of different eraser modes. One is like a pixel eraser, so it works just like a physical eraser. You're scrubbing parts of a line at a time. But then the other mode is a stroke eraser, where it'll just erase entire pen strokes at a time. So that's usually the way that I erase. Draw with touch. I'm not sure, like, I don't remember the last time I used this. This is if you have a touchscreen device. I'm not using a touchscreen device. If I had a touchscreen on this computer that I'm using, I would use my Wacom anyway. So I probably could remove this, and I'm going to go ahead and remove it. And then the touch versus mouse mode, I'm going to remove that as well. So if you are navigating with a touch screen, you can tell OneNote so that it doesn't misregister your panning with your finger for handwriting. You can change this touch and mouse mode to toggle between drawing with your finger and then panning with your finger as well. Because remember, your touch screen, as you touch and drag across a touch screen, Windows is going to recognize that as a click and drag with a left mouse click. So there's that. So quick access. So let me show you what this does if I were to go to the use pen as a pointer. So this is pretty cool because what I can do now is if I didn't have this feature enabled, you could still do something similar to it. And that is I can circle an area of the screen and it'll only temporarily leave that annotation. It's going to disappear after a little bit. See that? So to use a pen as a pointer does kind of a similar thing, but I think it's a little bit more limited. And certainly, and I'll tell you this right now, I'll tell you why this is better. Certainly, this only works in OneNote. Like, you're not going to be able to do that if you switch apps. So I can minimize everything here, and then I can point at my recycle bin, and I can blip on my recycle bin, and my students will see it on the screen. That's not going to happen with this feature of OneNote to use your pen as a pointer. Another thing too is if you're an expert with shortcut keys like I am, you know, Alt-Tab's been a thing for generations, 2 or 3 generations. But if you're keen to the shortcut keys, and if you're a teacher, I can press the Alt button from OneNote. If I press the Alt button, notice what comes up here. All this stuff pops up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the way that I have my pen set up, I can just switch colors by pressing Alt and then 5. And then right now I've got my pink pen. So I can just start drawing with it. Cool stuff. All right, what time is it? It's 7:15 Pacific. So I actually don't have much longer. We're going to jump to OneNote Online. I have to find out what's wrong with my Immersive Reader in OneNote Windows 10. That's disappointing to know that yesterday I just did this and no longer available from the following server. I'm going to troubleshoot that off stream, so we'll figure that out later. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to leave 2016 opened. We're going to go online. We're going to add a page. I'm going to move it down here. And let's take a look. Back at the agenda. I'm almost done, by the way, so about 15 minutes, 10 minutes. That's fine. Okay, so it now supports handwriting. So I'm going to show you the handwriting tool here. So depending on your computer and depending on the input device that you're using, so if you're using a graphics tablet like in the same vein as my Wacom. Yeah, you can go across. Here, hang on. I'm going to do a be right back thing. I'll be right back. This is a 20-second break. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Wife just wanted to grab some dirty laundry out of the closet, and so I just wanted to do that without having to be caught on camera. All right, where was I? So we were talking about graphics tablets. So let me bring my Wacom settings back up here. I don't know where my battery's at. Okay, 74%, we're good. So I covered this in stream yesterday as well. So for my Wacom tablet properties, I'm definitely in a place where it's like I'm loving Windows Ink. So I'm using it as often as possible. However, depending on your device, depending on your web browser, I'm going to advise that you add an application, for instance. So I'm going to go, let's do this with Firefox as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add an application specific limit on the input, and I'm going to disable Windows Ink. Just because it might not work properly for the handwriting. Now, I happen to know that with OneNote Online, it wasn't an issue. Where I ran into an issue was I was actually playing Dungeons and Dragons with my nephew, and we were using the Roll20 interface, and I was trying to draw on the map with my Wacom, and it would not draw on the map. And it turned out that I had to go into this setting and disable Windows Ink for the browser that I was using. So I'm going to go ahead and disable it just because it's not supported online anyway with OneNote, but the draw menu does, or the draw feature does work pretty well. So from this draw menu, I'm going to go ahead and select a pen. So the thickness is adjusted here as well, but notice it's a static thickness. Oh, I probably should have left Windows 10 open, right? The Windows 10 OneNote. Let's go. Let's open that back up so I can show you the difference there. So the thickness is static online. I'm going to go ahead and pick a thickness here. Let's go dark green. Also, I wonder if the glitter pen ink shows up. Let's go. It doesn't. Okay. So this is what I was referring to earlier in the stream. So notice the blue sentence here was written with a color pencil. It just looks like a pen. This orange ink was the glitter pen, wasn't it? The rainbow glitter pen? Yeah. And so online, it's just a red-orange. So there's a little limitation. More like a minor annoyance, more so than a deal-breaking thing. So let's go ahead and write here. But the latency is pretty good when as far as like, I feel like I'm writing in real time here. There's no delay from when I'm dragging across the tablet and when I'm seeing their handwriting on the board. So this is, what's happening here? I thought I heard something. Okay, so thank you for being here. So it's pretty functional. Now, the mathematics thing that we had just done earlier, that works here too. So guess what? Let's do another quadratic. Let's go y equals. Hi, Annie.
Hi, Daddy.
We're going to go x squared plus 6x. I'm going to do a perfect square trinomial here. Plus 9. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. We're going to click the math converter. Ooh, so my handwriting was possibly just a bit janky, so OneNote didn't like that, so let's try again. I thought that was pretty good handwriting. Maybe OneNote can go to hell. Let's try it again. I don't know what's wrong with you, man. Guess it thinks my 9. Uh-oh, it's frozen. Is it frozen? I'm gonna have to end this. Here, let's try. Okay, scrub the 9. I thought it was legible. And it could be that it's using a slightly different algorithm online than it is on the desktop version. So there it is right there. So let's do the same thing. We're going to graph it. And I'm not going to go through all those options again. Let's just go ahead and insert it on the page. And there we go. Holy crap. Okay, so in the interest of time, we're going to skip the embedded video. That'll work exactly as it did in the other two versions. It does not recognize Windows Ink input. And then you know what? We're going to save the last topic for the next stream. Oops. Whoa, that was terrible. So we're going to save this for the next stream. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the three-headed monster that is OneNote. It's not everything you can do. This was not a comprehensive teardown of all the features and bells and whistles of OneNote, but that is kind of an overview of the key differences between the three versions of it. Now, some follow-up in the parking lot. We got to find out. Let me go back in here. So this is going to be kind of our parking lot down here. I need to find out about the Immersive Reader, the 110 Immersive Reader. What is going on with that, and why was it broken tonight? Because it worked yesterday when I was in stream. I've already prepped dinner, but I just need to cook it. I'm making shumai and some stir fry. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And look at this. I don't know how to dot my I's because there's no I there. Okay, so the Immersive Reader and then question mark. I don't know what's going on with this. And that, I think, is pretty much a wrap. One last thing, since I was talking about this, I want to show you where to enable that in Windows. Go Hawks. It's football season. So I'm going to go into my control panel. And there should be another thing you notice about my mouse. My pointer you should notice my pointer is substantially larger, and then it's got this weird thing where it changes the color to contrast what's behind it. So you see this as I float from Earl Thomas's helmet and into the uniform. So it's changing its own color to contrast what's in the background. So let me show you where to enable both of these things. It's pretty simple. We're going to go into the control panel and go devices and printers. And we just want our mouse settings. Actually, not devices and printers. I think it was hardware. Yeah, hardware and sound. And I just want to go into my mouse settings. So two things. Pointer options. This one right here, the very last one. Show the location of pointer when I press the control key. Okay. So that's exactly, you click that to enable it, and then as a teacher, and really even if you're not a teacher, you can always just tap the control key to figure out where your mouse pointer is at. Super useful when you're using a Wacom tablet, because if I go back to Windows OneNote 2016, you'll notice here that when I'm using a pen, my pointer now becomes exactly the size of the pen that I'm using. So if I were using a 0.3 pen, then this pointer would be even smaller. So to be able to tap the control key to see where I'm about to write is super useful and effective. The other thing is, so from the mouse menu, no, that was it for the mouse menu. But the other thing is we need to go into our ease of access center. So here's the other part, and this was the pointer itself. So I'm going to change how your mouse works. And you can see here, so the regular pointer, if I were to do this, is that size, okay? So you see my mouse now, that's how it is by default. I go all the way to the lower right here, the extra large mouse pointer, and then inverting colors to assist people who need to be able to see my mouse. There are other software programs out there as well that will just highlight your mouse. I've found those to interfere with my ability to write in any of my applications that take pen recognition. So I don't, that's why I stick with this. Otherwise I would, like I used to love, was it Pen Attention or Pen Active? I don't know. There were two different software
Always
programs.
Scan this section.
Oops. There were two different software programs that I used to use where it just basically put a highlight circle around my cursor. But I had to disable them because they created all kinds of terrible latency issues with any of the applications where I was using handwriting. And so that's just was not acceptable for me. But anyway, oh, Johnny's leaving, so I'll wait for him to come back before I turn the stream off. But hey, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for watching. I appreciate any of the follows or any of the lurks. This is like I said, the beginning of my journey of possibly a bold and audacious career switch. And like I said, I'm not looking to collect money for what I'm doing here. I do want to become like a free tutor to the world in the same vein as Khan Academy. You go to Khan Academy to take the course. You come to me when you get stuck. That's the whole point of this. But what I want to do is I want to spend the next several months trying to build a following, figure out where this crazy thing goes, and then possibly have something compelling enough to convince a tech company to acquire me, and then get paid to do this full time. So again, I'm gonna stick around here for Chani just to say goodbye. I do play games on occasion, so to throw some variety in the mix, I'll probably go in and occasionally stream from my PS4. I don't have a capture card, so I won't be able to do anything with Splatoon or with my Switch quite yet. But again, if you type !Switch, if you type !PSN, those will put my PSN IDs and my Switch friend codes in there, and you can always add me. But I do love puzzle games, so let's just I'm gonna close this and that. Let's get rid of all of our OneNote here. I don't need Twitter anymore. Let's go. I'm gonna log out of. Okay, you can close learning tools. Let's just go to Tetris Friends. It's been a while, so I'm probably quite rusty with Tetris. Disconnect my phone. And then let's log into Tetris Friends and see if I'm still any good. I don't even know my password anymore. Maybe let me let's check this. Yeah, I don't know how to log in. I'll have to reset my password. Okay, so never mind. No Tetris Friends. But Chani, I do need to get to the kitchen. Oh, awesome. So thank you for the tweet. Let me check my Discord server. Anybody else in here? Yes, by the way, when I am ready to go live, I do have a Discord server, so let me get that into the chat. So you can type !Discord. When I am ready to offer live help, you will ask your question during chat or during stream on the Discord server. I've got a channel there for math questions, self-help, and tutorials. I also have a channel that's dedicated to resources for teachers. It's fairly stripped down. There's not a whole lot here yet, but there'll be content to come as we do this thing and we cover some content and we answer some questions. So thank you very much for all of the viewers. Thank you very much, Chani, for everything. I appreciate you. You've inspired me to take this gamble and try to do this. And just, I can't thank you enough. Like I said, the best way to support me would be just through a follow and then participating in the stream as often as possible. Feel free to ask questions as we move forward, and like I said, I will occasionally hop on and do games with my community, Switch, PS4, and then possibly other platforms, but I mainly game on PS4 and Switch. But other than that, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Short stream, I'll probably also have a short stream Monday. I think my schedule is up. My intent is to do Mondays Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and then Saturdays for all of them short streams. So yeah, I appreciate this. Thank you very much. This is exciting for me, and we'll see where this goes. So thank you.